Moshi Mosh Liebe, Artgenossen, liebe SLP-ARMY, liebe Freunde und Fans von Videospielen, mittendrin statt nur dabei. Willkommen zurück zu Schnuffi Schnups Angeplust Mai 2019. Wir machen weiter mit dem nächsten Spiel, What Remains of Edith Finch, mit der bezaubernden und reichlich netten Schnuffi. Willst du spielen oder? Jeder eine Geschichte? Okay. Willst du anfangen? Ja, ich fange an. Okay. Ja komm, wir spielen wenigstens bis zu meiner Lieblingsgeschichte.
Oh, Schnuppi, ich möchte gleich noch was essen in Ruhe.
Meine Lieblingsgeschichte ist die Dingsten. Die Comic. Die ist doch recht schnell, die kommt doch schnell.
Ja, Schnuppi, ich muss in 2 Stunden schon wieder los.
Ja, die Comic-Stripe-Geschichte, die kommt doch schnell. Oh, vielleicht müsste ich auch mal auf ein neues Spiel gehen. Das Spiel könnte man ein bisschen lauter machen, glaube ich.
Sieht man dafür seine Asianudeln auf dem Boden.
Ja. Kurz vergessen, wie es geht. Ach ja.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you. And I'm sorry about that. I'm just gonna start
Ich glaube, ich sollte Untertitel einstellen, ne?
Das stand doch da auf Deutsch. Das war doch in dem Buch.
Was? Ach ja, stimmt.
beginning
Stimmt ja.
with the house. I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms. Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Das habe ich ja dann gewöhnt.
I hadn't
Muss
been
mich da
back
erstmal
since
wieder
my
dran
brother
gewöhnen.
Lewis's funeral.
Das ist so toll, ne?
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know, or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Wieso geht's nicht oben lang?
Stimmt, das geht kürzer. Ich sage echt noch die Sprint-Taste.
No one had driven this way in a long time,
Oder kannst du
but
da
I saw a
durchgehen?
few hoofprints.
Ja, du kannst durchgehen.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
Das haben wir damals gar nicht benutzt, um die Texte richtig zu erkennen. Die sind Funktion. weiß nicht, da haben wir das damals total kritisiert, dass man die wirklich lesen kann.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words. Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the
Wissen wir,
house.
dass sie 17 ist. Ich glaube, so manche Texte haben wir auch verpasst. Weil wir nicht wussten, wohin schauen müssen. Und es ein bisschen schneller ging als so. Das wird immer ein bisschen
I
viel.
hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
Ich finde es so interessant, wie das wie so ein Horrorspiel wirkt, ne? Mit seiner Happy-Atmosphäre und so. Dabei ist es ja alles anderes als ein Horrorspiel. Hier war das Bild nicht mehr, der passt, oder? Oder wir müssen durch die Hundeklappe durch.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Ne, ist klar. Man wird ja auch größer und fetter, ne? Ist aber logisch. Dass man dann nicht mehr ganz so leicht durchkommt. Mit 11.
The power had been turned off the night we left. For the first time in years, I felt like I was home. But instead of a family, there were just memories of
Das ist
one.
interessant. Das ist neu. Die führen dich auch immer zu den Texten. Automatisch die Kamera. Das heißt, du kannst gar nichts übersehen.
Like how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Ich kriege immer Gänsehaut, wenn ich diese Dinger sehe, ey. Ne?
Fisch?
Mhm. Muss immer an diese Fischgeschichte denken.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture. Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth. Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night. After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Es ist wirklich mehr einsteigerfreundlich geworden, ne?
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin. As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Ja, klar, wenn man es nicht anders kennt, ne?
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947. I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Louis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him. Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan, but I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting.
Ich kann nicht mehr.
Naja.
Mir wird grad schlecht davon. Weil du so hektisch drin.
Rede ich nicht so schnell? Entschuldigung.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Gut, dass er den Code nicht gegessen hat, ne?
Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Kann ich weiterdenken, das geht gerade überhaupt nicht mehr.
Soll ich mich langsamer bewegen? Soll ich das alleine weitermachen?
Ich weiß nicht warum, aber es ist gerade echt nicht gut.
Soll ich das alleine versuchen weiterzumachen?
Ist blöd, ich weiß.
Naja, wenn es nicht geht, geht's nicht, Schätze. Aber das ist komisch, dass du es selber gespielt
I
hast, war es
kept
nicht so,
eating
oder?
and eating.
Mach ich das zu Ende.
Ja, bis später.
Wenn ich fertig bin, komme ich noch, ne? Oder?
I ate a lot of things that night. Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest.
Ich hoffe, das
I
ist nicht
reached
so laut.
out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat. I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Continuieren wir weiter. Achso. Gucken wir, oder? Ja.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her. I could tell she was getting really tired.
Ja, was ist für Hütchen?
Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl.
Das ist
First,
so
all
geil.
I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the
Das ist
grass.
so verdammt awesome.
Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
Klar.
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
Das Spiel ist so wunderschön.
Grabbed on tight. When I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed. Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, and I moved real quiet. so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer. All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to be, and we both know I will be delicious.
Molly Finch. Das war die Geschichte von Molly Finch.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage. I can't describe it, but I felt like some part of Molly was still here. This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom. When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
Zu machen.
Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Edie knit me a new pair of gloves every year, just in time to replace the old ones. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace. There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Das ist so geil, dieses Haus.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, he swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't.
Schön schaukeln.
I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam, Calvin, dinner's ready. Coming.
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it.
Whee!
I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin, I'm not gonna tell you again.
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
So krass. Ja, von der Klippe gefallen, ne?
Calvin's story
Mal
felt
sagen, der
strangely
arme Calvin.
familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing. After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Das sieht so cool aus. Ich will auch so ein Haus. So ein kreativ cooles, schönes Haus.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Und jetzt kommt meine absolute Lieblingsgeschichte.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Bark Street.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Oh, Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed
Meine
up,
Lieblingsgeschichte.
a has-been.
Weil die so creepy ist und so herrlich
She'd
einfach
been
nur.
asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Diese Musik.
Rick scratch and imagined the worst.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
So gut.
Fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear! Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Walter vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. She sensed the story might not be over yet. The hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real ear fairy tale.
I love it.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
So, und ich finde, hier ist ein perfekter Zeitpunkt zum Breaken. Meine Lieblingsgeschichte. Auf jeden Fall ein sehr, sehr, sehr schönes Spiel, das auch sehr, sehr, sehr schön funktioniert und auch immer noch einfach ein Kleinod ist. Jeder sollte es mal gespielt haben und die PS Plus hat jetzt die Möglichkeit. Wir sehen uns dann beim nächsten PS Plus angezockt für den Juni. Mal gucken, was uns da erwartet. Frohes Schaffen, frohes Sein. Bis zum nächsten Mal rein. Euer Bye bye. Au!